So you have more than one child and they fight constantly. How do you stop it? How do you stop siblings bickering and fighting? I can't tell you how many times people ask me this question. I'm Sarah Ockwell-Smith. I'm an author of 16 books about parenting, including the Gentle Discipline book and the Gentle Parenting book. People seem to think that I have a magic answer for this. And actually, with a lot of parenting conundrums, there is no magic answer. This is one of them. Siblings bicker. That's what they do, and that's a good thing. I know it's not a good thing right now in your life when they're constantly fighting. Believe me, I have 4 children, all born within 4 years of each other. There was constant bickering when they were younger. But the thing is, this really helps them. It helps them to learn about the dynamics of relationships, disagreeing with each other, and, all the sort of infighting that siblings do is a really great stepping stone to what happens when they're older, when they're adults, and when they have romantic partners, when they have work colleagues, when they have friends when they're older, and they have disagreements because they've learned it in the safety of home. That's much better. What can you do though when it's really, really just too much? Well, sometimes I actually think parents make it worse in that we tend to step in and we tend to try to referee and we tend to try and pick sides and stop it and send one to their room and take a toy away. And actually, the more we do that, the more we take away the ability for the children to resolve the conflicts by themselves. So I always use the principle of what's the worst that could happen? If the worst that could happen is one of my children gets hurt or something important gets broken, then I will intervene and step in. If not, I would leave them to it, because when you leave them to it, you're empowering them to resolve the situation by themselves. If they do need a bit of help, you could say things like, have you two discussed a different way to do it? Have you told each other how you feel? Have you decided maybe there's a different way that we could come up with this? But don't resolve it for them. Every time you step in and resolve things, you take their power away to resolve it. The final tip I would give is try to, if possible, give them their own time and space, their own time with you as a parent, because a lot of sibling fighting happens when one sibling feels less heard and less seen and feels they get less attention than their other sibling. So particularly if one sibling's been sick or they've needed a lot of your time for some reason, it's quite common for the other one to play up a little bit more. So trying to work in a way that you can have one-to-one time with each of your children individually. It doesn't have to be big grand gestures. It could just be popping to the supermarket with one of them, or playing with one of them, or taking one of them to the park, and doing it with each of them so that each of them get that time with you one-to-one for 20 minutes, half an hour at a time. When you're together, talk about how you miss having the time together with just them and how you look forward to it next time. Ask them what they'd like to do together next time, and try and get that one-to-one time as much as possible. Individual bedtimes are another great thing to do if you have the capability and the time to be able to do it. And the last thing, give them their own space. So I don't necessarily mean their own room, but just their own space. It could be like a cupboard. It could be a corner of your living room or bedroom where they have a little box, a storage box, and that is theirs, and it's protected from their sibling, and their sibling has to ask permission to go into it. And if they don't, then you will step in and help. Because it's quite difficult in a house, particularly when it's busy or small or there is a lot of you, and your stuff kind of seems free game for siblings, but having that sacred space and a space where you can put things that you don't want to share, because let's face it, as adults we don't want to share everything, yet we're obsessed with our children sharing everything. A space where their things are protected is really, really important. So maybe give that a try introduce those as well, but ultimately lower those expectations. The people you see on social media have given you their best reel, their best photos, and it makes it look like they all constantly adore each other all of the time, because that's what they've chosen for you to see. It won't be like that in reality. And the other thing I will say, as a parent to children now in their 20s, that connection, that friendship, that relationship comes when they're a bit older. So right now, my children who would bicker like mad when they were younger now voluntarily go out and socialise with each other without me there. it grows in the years to come. And if you have siblings, you'll probably realise that you're closer now than when you were children. So don't rush it. It will come in time. I hope that's helped. I'd love you to hit the subscribe button. I release a video like this every week. And also leave me a comment below if you've got a tip that helped with sibling rivalry for others to read. Apart from that, I hope this video helped you.